Mr. Speaker,
I'm here for you.
The Manitoba Association for Rights and Liberties has said in discussing a lengthy report from the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, there is a profound problem in Manitoba where 66% of accused persons being housed in provincial jails sit waiting for their day in court. Manitobans deserve an explanation for why such a high proportion of the people in our province's jails are legally innocent. The overwhelming delays and injustice occurring are also hemorrhaging our provincial treasury. I ask, are the Premier and his Minister of Justice content to let this situation persist, or will they, after 15 years of delay, actually bring forth a plan to address this profound problem?
Thank the member for the question. He's referring to the high percentage of people that remain on remand in the court system, and we've put forward some very innovative projects to deal with that. First, the family court, with supports for people going through that process in the family court. The Front End Project, very effective, very well received, recognized by the United Nations. We've since then launched a mental health court in Manitoba, Mr. Speaker. The mental health court works very closely not only with the justice system but with the healthcare system to ensure that people that are challenged with those kinds of issues are given the support they need to stay out of the justice system. We have many other initiatives, Mr. Speaker, stopping the number of people coming into the correction system with good prevention and youth programs in our communities, good programs to create employment and jobs for people so that they can be doing things that are productive and earning a good living and can stay out of the attractions or the opportunities that may present them to them in crime if they don't have good employment and good opportunities. So all of these things are making a difference, Mr. Speaker. We have as well hired additional prosecutors, as recently as 2,069 new prosecutors. We have a criminal organizations and high-risk offender unit, and I'd be pleased to answer more questions in a second, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, lots of programs, no real improvement. Mr. Speaker, the report called Set Up to Fail also says there is systemic discrimination in the justice system and that it frequently criminalizes poverty, addictions, and mental illness and is biased against Aboriginal people.
That's a
shame.
The
report also raises issues as to whether the justice system in Manitoba operates so that violations of the Charter rights in the bail context are routine. Perhaps the Premier's latest Minister of Justice has the solution, which has eluded them for years. If the Premier is really focused on the needs of Manitobans, he will act today to address the systemic discrimination in the justice system that his NDP government has run for 15 years, will he?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we will, because we believe that there are things you can do to keep people out of crime's way, and when you keep people out of crime's way, you keep them out of the justice system. That's why we're supporting programs like Build in Manitoba, Mr. Speaker, where people are actually in neighborhoods, fixing up homes, helping people save money on their energy bills, save money on their water bills, while they're getting good skills training, good opportunities for permanent jobs. That's why we support the BEAT program in Brandon, Mr. Speaker, which is doing similar types of work, taking people that were previously involved in the criminal justice system or at risk of being there, working with them to have good jobs in their communities. That's why we have the after-school leaders program, Mr. Speaker. That's why we support the green teams in the, on a seasonal basis in Manitoba to ensure young people get good opportunities for good jobs, Mr. Speaker. And that's why we're looking at alternatives to people being in the justice system through traditional methods with First Nations communities where they can elders can play a role in playing, setting standards for behavior in their community. And that's why we have criminal justice committees in our system, Mr. Speaker, where many things can be dealt with right at the neighborhood level with the support of community volunteers and leaders. All of those things will make a difference, Mr. Speaker, and we will look at other measures we can take that will further us down that path of keeping people out of the justice system.
Mr. Speaker, I asked a similar question to today's June the 8th, 2011, 3 years ago, but there's almost no progress in outcomes. None. Indeed, as this recent report says, one of the problems is that the drug treatment court is not sufficiently available. I asked about this April 15th of this year, and now for 8 months, the Winnipeg's court has been closed to new referrals because of the drastic and unconscionable failure of the NDP. And there's still no court in Brandon or Thompson. Will the Premier tell us today, will he halt the shutdown of the drug treatment court and make it fully functional? And when will the urgently needed drug treatment courts in Brandon and Thompson be operational?
Mr. Speaker, We know that there's been some withdrawal of resources for the Drug Treatment Court from another level of government. We continue to be supportive of it, Mr. Speaker. We think the Drug Treatment Court, along with the Mental Health Court and the court that helps families that are having negative experiences, are all positive innovations because they focus on the specific issues those people are going through in their lives that cause them to get into trouble. And the Drug Treatment Court, we think, is something that has merit. We look for a federal partner in that. We certainly believe there's support in the community for a drug treatment court, and we know that our people in the health and social services system are supportive as well. And Mr. Speaker, we've added additional beds in Manitoba for drug treatment so that people can get access quickly to those kinds of services and be able to take the stress off themselves from addictions. Addictions can be a very difficult issue for somebody to overcome. They need the help of people and governments to support their programs, and we have opened up many additional beds, not only for youth but for adults throughout Manitoba to deal with drug issues and help people overcome those issues. Mr. Speaker.